it just seems like a massive brick wall, and you're chipping away at it, and you're chipping away, and you're chipping away, and you don't know how close you are to breaking through, right? You just got to have the focus to stay honed in and keep chipping, even though I don't know the result. Blueprint listeners, welcome back with your host. I'm Zach Heyer.
And I'm Spencer Maxwell. And we're having some fun today. Zach, we are going to give a quick update just again on our businesses. Like we said, this is a journey, stories and experiences. We're looking to motivate, educate, and inspire. So just talking about the season of business that we're in, it's ever changing, and I feel like we've kind of both come into a season here recently of big shifts in business, or at least some milestones, I guess, or additions, or whatever you'd like to call it. So I guess the Z&T agency, your biz, you guys got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of new moving parts, and starting to really peak.
I mean, I'd be careful throwing around the term peak for sure. Because, I mean, as part of the podcast, it's going to be talking about things that, we're just trying to figure out. And we're in that point to where I almost want, not as a whole, but part of the podcast to be relatability of where we're at, the journey of where we're trying to go, and the authenticity and transparency to show that we don't have everything figured out by any stretch of the imagination. Right. And there are so many things that we're dealing with, issues that we're trying to overcome, ideas that we're trying to figure out, paths that we're trying to take to ultimately reach the peak, because we're nowhere near it.
Yeah.
So I would say for the agency, there's a lot that we're trying to figure out right now. And one of the biggest things is, I would say, expanding into different realms to be that comprehensive agency, as I've mentioned, but also how can we do things kind of at scale, that it's not just one-offs, completely reliant on me or people on the team to just utilize one-time services, or how we're not the bottleneck, I guess. And trying to figure that out to where, and it's certainly, I'm abundantly clear, it's not all about money, but we're not a not-for-profit, we're a for-profit, right? So it's trying to figure out how to get the most bang for your buck, and how to not just make, smaller increments of money, but how to really blow it up to make some real money. So that's one of the issues that we're trying to figure out right now, of how to do that. And we're making strides towards that. So, for example, last week, we just brought onto the team a professional photographer, videographer, that I think that she will be very complementary to what we're doing. So kind of going back to the big picture of what we're trying to do with the agency, right? Because Tawny and I are doing, at the core of the social media marketing. We have Grant running the graphic design. Now we have Kyla doing the photography, videography. How do we continue to build that out and put pieces in place of maybe copywriting's next? Somebody that just is really good at copywriting. Paid ads, that is a complete beast within itself, right? Trying to figure that out, of like, who would do that? What's the piece that would be the key to unlocking that? And right now the answer is, I don't know. I'm just, we're all trying to figure this out. So we're certainly heading in the right direction to chip away at that ultimate goal. But really, it's just like, I'm kind of at a point to where I'm like, I don't know what the next step looks like or where to go. And we're going to continue trying to chip away at that brick wall to figure that out. Because I think that that's, could be the key to continuous unlock and the continuous to grow. So yeah, man, it gets kind of frustrating at times.
It's weird. And it's, somebody said it this morning when I was at men's group. Our leader was like, you know what? We're going to take off into the air and build a plane while we're doing it.
I love that.
He's like, I'm going to build a plane while we're in the air. And I'm like, holy crap, that's entrepreneurship.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So I was like, holy crap, like I'm such a visual person. And that analogy really hit well with me because it's like, same with me. It's like, hey, I'm trying to span but just not be surface level. I'm trying to be deeper.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm trying to have these different arms, but how do I grow roots out of those arms?
Right.
Is the hard part. So it's like, well, I have the ideas and I have the people, but how do I make it foolproof? How do I build systems? How do I make it scalable, but where you can take hands off? Because at
100%.
first, you have to wear all those hats.
You do.
And that's hard and you get burnt out. And so it's like, that's also the season I'm in too.
I know. And here's, I mean, obviously I can't speak for you. I can speak for myself. And against your discretion, I'm just going to say it of this process has shown me how much I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there are people that are really good at this business, really good at business and would easily know, boom, that's the next step. This is the exact next hire that I need to make. This is the exact process that I need to take. I'm trying to figure that out.
Dude, there's people that are really, really like business minded and business savvy. I'm not one of those people. I'm a really hard worker and I'm a big dreamer. And I'm gaining the business mind as I go.
100%.
Right. It's like you figure out how much you don't know. It's like when I came into real estate, I thought I was going to sell $1 million. I thought I knew everything. And it's like, sit down, shut up.
Right. And what I really began to understand is the experience comes through doing.
Correct.
And I love that analogy that you just said.
Yeah.
We're going to take flight and we're going to learn to build a plane while we're in the air.
That's entrepreneurship. That is business. And it's like,
that resonates so much to where like I'm at right now of like, we're at the point to where we've done enough that we're in the air. But man, I'm trying to figure out where the left phalange goes, if you know what I mean.
For friends.
Yeah, I'm glad that you got that reference. Tawny's going to love that, by the way. But I'm trying to figure out, where do I put this section of the plane? Where do I do that section of the plane? And I'm in the air. I'm certainly not cruising at 30,000 feet going 500 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to get to. But I think that that's a part of the journey of just putting in the work, putting yourself, taking the action, throwing it all the way back to episode 1.
Yeah.
Taking the action that's required to get that experience and learn, and having the humility to understand that I don't know everything. And there's a lot of people out there that know a lot more than me. And I'm just going to try to figure out the best that I can and work as hard as I can to put myself in positions to surround myself with people that are smarter than me and that can kind of expedite that process to get me to 30,000 feet.
Yeah, I think now like the humility is the biggest part. And I think that's I would say that is probably one of the most important characteristics to an entrepreneur is humility.
Business owners, do you know the value of creating a strong brand and realize social media is one of the best ways to do it, but don't have the time to stay consistent or know where to start? Do you need a modern website or an eye-catching logo? You only get one first impression and you've got to make it count. No matter if you're looking for a website, a logo package, or if you need a professional to craft and implement a custom social media strategy to create a recognizable brand and drive sales, the Z&T agency has got you covered. Odds are you've probably been thinking about these things to some degree, but didn't know a solution. Or maybe this is all new to you and you're interested in hearing more. Either way, we'd love to talk to you. Reach out to zach.hire@theztagency.com to book your consultation call today.
I
Or
agree.
else you're just going to be stuck.
For sure.
And businesses don't beat other businesses. Businesses get beaten by yourself, you know?
The mere principle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's, I mean, you got to be humble. And so I love that analogy, because it's like right now where I'm at, it's okay. Well, I got somebody in place. All right, now it's building training systems, and it's like building templates to where you can do things in scale, but it remains the same, to where you can't tell a difference. How do you build back end systems? Building presentations. I should have those done a long time ago, but it's like, how do you build presentations and systems and
ensuring the same quality of service that Spencer Maxwell would give?
Correct.
You know what I mean?
So it's like, because what I'm realizing is like, okay, I can't be in every single deal as intimately as I want to. So how do I create systems to where I can still keep my hands on it, but yet I'm still hands off, if that makes sense? To where it's like, so now I'm in the process of building systems for the agent that I hired on. And then plus with the contracting business, it's like, okay, how do I scale this? How do I keep a good, reputable brand? And how do I make it passive to where I'm not burning myself out on two businesses? So it's like, I'm right there with you, dude. As far as like, okay, well, we're spanning and we're adding different arms, just like the agency is. Now, how do we scale? But how do we make it quality? You know, because you want to keep the same quality of customer service as a small business, but you want to continue to scale. So it's like, it's a fine line to walk.
Let me ask you this question. Do you personally find it difficult relinquishing control?
Yes.
You do?
Yes. It's like with the golf outing, dude. It's like I asked for Steph's help, but then I didn't let her help me. You know, it's like and delegation is a trait, is probably going to be one of the hardest traits that I have to learn. Because if I do it, I know it's going to get done, and I know it's like it will be done to my expectation.
Yeah.
And so control is very hard. Yeah.
It's tough.
I wouldn't say I'm a control, and it bothers me when people say control freaks, because control freaks really are just perfectionists. That's all they are.
And you're just wanting the best for your business and the best for your clients, right?
Correct. So yes, the long answer to your short question is yes, control is an issue.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine it's the same with you. I know it's the same with you.
Certainly. But from people that are much smarter than like I am, I have heard, and obviously just using common sense, you know this to be true, but it's impossible to do anything at scale if you are the sole driver. You have to delegate.
And that's where I'm at. And it's a scary, it's a scary cliff to jump off of and build that plane, because it's like, you mean I have to delegate? But that's why you have to build those systems. That's why you have to have stuff in place and infrastructure.
And getting into the whole conversation of how do you do that? You know what I mean? Like, what does that whole look like? Because that is, I mean, you said that pretty quickly, but that is a massive chunk in so much that goes into that, right?
Dude, it's going to take me this whole year to build systems.
Yeah.
Just because and
trying to figure it out.
Right. To build a buyer presentation, a listing presentation, to build out systems, to build out templates, to build out checklists, to put people in the right place, to learn software. It takes a long time.
It does. And here's once again going to advice from people that know far more than I do. But and this could be controversial, because some people would believe this, some people wouldn't. But some of the people that I've listened to, they will almost make the statement that if somebody can do something 80% as good as what I can do, I'm going to delegate that off, because 80% is going to recoup, 90 to 95% of my time.
Yeah.
Allow me to go do more of working on the business versus in the business. And just understanding that if I'm going to scale, this is the path that I'm going to have to go down. and almost coming to grips with that, coming to terms with, especially from our eyes, even if the person that we're hiring to take over that role does a awesome job in the lens of a perfectionist, in the lens of somebody that, thinks that I'm the only person to do this job.
Are you looking to buy, sell, or invest? Be sure to use a Maxwell Group at NavX Realty, where your dream is our passion. The Maxwell Group takes pride in client relationships and experiences. We utilize our knowledge, our love for the industry, and our extensive network to handle your life's biggest investment. Call or text Spencer Maxwell at 937-572-5382.
Even if they are doing a killer job, I think that sometimes it can be skewed because it's not exactly how we would do it. And we think that they're not doing as good of a job as if we would have done it.
Yeah.
Even though in reality, taking off the lens of bias, they're crushing it, you know? So I think that all of these things are just skills that we're going to have to learn that we don't know right now.
Yeah.
And I think the only way to do it is by doing it.
Yeah. Well, it's just, going back to what works, which is by just getting started. So it's like, I feel like this is the most pivotal, aside from step one of just getting started in your business.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this, like the second hardest phase is like when you're just punching at that, when you just keep pushing that border of like, hey, how do I get to the next level?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, looking forward with ignorance, it's probably, going to be the hardest level of how do I get to the next, to the next, to the next. It's
Certainly.
like, because it's just like, dude, I don't know, because you got to take risks.
You do.
And the risks are scary.
It is.
So that's the season that you and I are both in.
And it's the Hormozy gives the analogy of like, it just seems like a massive brick wall and you're chipping away at it and you're chipping away and you're chipping away and you don't know how close you are to breaking through, right? You just got to have the focus to stay honed in and keep chipping, even though I don't know the result. I don't know how thick this wall is, but I'm going to have the discipline and the passion and the dedication to keep chipping away until I break through. And I think that that's why a lot of businesses fail because they hit a wall and they may chip at it for a little bit, but then, give up and realize, hey, I don't know what to do. I tap out. Or I'm running out of money. I can't do this any longer, and I'm losing money while I'm trying to figure this out.
Oh, you definitely get like PTSD at this phase of like, holy crap! It feels like when I just started, of like, okay, but that's the season of like you getting to the next level.
It is, and honestly, that's the reality of entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
that's the reality of it. It's not, cushy. It's not, comfortable and, reliable income and security. You just got to make it happen.
It's a lot longer than I thought it would be.
I know. I know. But that also is what makes it worth it because once we get on that other side, that's what we've worked to achieve. And I mean, I'm very optimistic that you and I will get there. Not because of talent or the know-how, but more so just the resilience to keep going. And I think that is a huge separator of those that make it versus those that don't. How bad do you want it?
Yeah. That's all it is.
And I kind of want it pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
So for today, I mean, I really want this podcast to kind of be that real, authentic journey of where we're at and trying to figure things out and working through the struggle and documenting the process because the reality is we're at the beginning.
Yeah.
We're at the beginning and maybe we can use this podcast to be relatable to those who are at the beginning and, they're chipping against that wall and they're wanting to give up, but realize that there's other people in the fight with them that are still chipping away, and let us be that, motivating
We're
factor.
here with you. Yeah.
Yeah. And vice versa. You guys, being that for us, because it's not always rainbows and butterflies. So would love to utilize this platform to be authentic, show the reality, the rawness of, trying to build a business and what that looks like. So that is all we have today
That's all we got
on the Blueprint Podcast.
Yeah.
And we will catch you next week.
Peace.
Peace.